Good morning. I stand here representing the Classified Senate on behalf of Roberto Gonzales. I also stand representing each of you classified members individually. I want to start off by keeping it all in the context of shared governance, confessing that when I first started here, let's see, I've been an employee here at Peralta for 5 years now. But when I first started here, I was the one that came in from corporate thinking, this isn't existing, this doesn't work, oh wow, why isn't this happening? I spent about 5 months going through that. Oh, this is how it works somewhere else. And then I took some time to look introspectively and say, you're there because you can make it better. You're there because you have something to contribute. And then I met all of these lovely people that gave me the opportunity to grow and soar and implement ideas and collaborate and work together. And then slowly but surely, I started to see a difference from an idea I shared. And then I listened to others' experiences and became, you all enabled me to relate to different perspectives, from the faculty's perspective, the students' perspective, classified perspective. And that's what participatory governance and shared governance is all about. And now I stand 5 years later telling you that I figured out how to become a part of the solution. That's what shared governance is about. And then us being transparent as leaders, being clear about what the challenges are, why we're all in the predicament that we're in, and how we can work together to make it better. Understanding the decision-making process and being a part of that change. And so I personally moved from a place of judgment and pointing my finger to putting up the mirror and saying, how can I contribute to the betterment of this organization that I chose to be a part of? I could have applied anywhere, right? But I chose to be here. And because I chose to be here, I made also a decision to give you the best of me. So all relationships should be reciprocal in that you give your best and what you expect the best in return. And that's what Peralta has been good to me. And that's because I woke up and I wake up every day and decide I'm going to give my best and receive the best. And it all looks different for us individually, right? So it's your responsibility to embrace that experience and make that experience your reality. I share with you also that as classified, we have to make an intentional effort of not just promoting the functionality of classified, but also the expertise, the wisdom that comes along with you being a classified participant and member of this body. Some of you have been here for 25, 30 years, 7 years, 10 years. You bring some knowledge and expertise that needs to be shared. You do that through participatory governance. Management and administration, we're looking to you for support. What does support look like? Support looks like, I understand that I have a classified employee that's interested in being a part of the facilities planning committee, is interested in being a part of technology committee, but they also have a job description. There are only 8 hours in the day. And based on the budget I'm looking at, I can only afford so much by way of overtime. So what does that trade-off look like? We don't have release time in our contracts, and someone else will address that. But it looks like perhaps I understand I need your contribution on this committee, and so I'll trade off maybe an hour in this day to allow you to be a part of that planning process, that shared governance process, to collect the minutes, to report back, because we all know that during the time that we want to make sure we meet the accreditation standards, those contributions from classified mean something, and I need for classified to recognize the value that you bring and carry yourselves in that way. Listen and share those things that are important, that'll better the organization. Look for the chances to be useful. Look for the chances for you to thrive in your lives individually and corporately. And above all, keep a work-life balance. Because I go home at the end of the day and I do everything I love and enjoy, I come here and I'm a much more pleasant person. I'll close out and say this. that I urge us all to remember that although we stand on the shoulders of those that made huge sacrifices, those will never understand the price that they paid. Those that have gone on, I could think of so many faculty here that remain here that have been so kind to me, showed me what real collaborations mean. And although we hold on and we stand on that legacy, I pray that we do not allow tradition and what we're so familiar with and common with keep us from moving forward and being open-minded and embracing new ways of doing things, embracing new technology, embracing and understanding what the demographics look like. What does our community look like that we're so eager to serve? When we talk about enrollment being down, what does it look like as a classified? What does my contribution look like to bring in this new generation of students that their head is here all day on the phone? What does that look like? And so just consider that, classified Senate. Think about your place in this organization and think about how you may contribute. Reach down and figure out what your gifts are, and let's sow into this place that we all chose to be a part of. I encourage you, be on the lookout. I'll send some emails out about how you can get engaged, and I look forward to you all trusting me and giving me your support as we move forward. Thank you.
My name is Mallory. I represent the Service Employees International Union Local 1021. Our union represents approximately 500 classified staff, both our permanent unit and the hourly unit. And I just want, Abby Gail Brewer is our chapter president, and she told me that she needed me to come up here and speak to you all for 3 minutes. And I don't know if I was excited or terrified. I think a little bit of both. But I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Not a lot of the community colleges that I have worked with allow us the opportunity to kind of give a report on what we've been doing over the summer and forecast into what we're going to be doing over the course of the school year. So for that, I'm extremely grateful. We had some pretty good wins last year. We were able to get on the schedule salary increases for both our permanent and the hourlies. We were able to preserve health insurance levels at its current rate. We know what's happening with health insurance. The rates are going up exponentially, and oftentimes it absorbs whatever you get in salary. So to the extent that we can keep health insurance at a reasonable cost, it benefits our members. We were able to secure language for the hourly employees that we represent that gives them more rights to open vacancies within the district. So they are viewed the same as a permanent employee and not an outside prospect. So that was very beneficial. That being said, we have some challenges, obviously this year. We live in an economy that benefits very, very few, and they get to set the rules on the rest of us. And as a union, we have to be the organization that really fights for the working class and tries to change that, which is challenging because oftentimes we have a hard time keeping ourselves on track, let alone viewing things in a broader perspective. And so some of the things that we're going to be doing as a union to face some of the challenges is we want to partner with shared governance. We want to partner with the other represented groups so that we can address these issues as one body and still maintain our autonomy as an organization. The only way that we're going to be able to overcome these challenges is if we do it together as a community. We need to work together to make sure that enrollment keeps going up and that when we have a student that that comes and registers, that we are able to provide the support for that student so that they not only stay the first year, but they finish their second year all the way until we guide them into a four-year college. Our classified staff provides the support to allow that to happen, and we need the district to give our workers the support to allow them to be able to do that job. It's a very important one. Thank you. The other challenge that we have, obviously, is organizing ourselves. And so some of the things that we're going to be doing differently over the course of this year, and I'm committed to, I've already been working with some of our leaders at our various colleges to do this. But one of the things that we're going to start doing is we need to have monthly meetings at every campus. We haven't been doing that. We need to start doing that. We need to start having monthly meetings with each of the presidents at each of the college, because I want to know where they're coming from and their perspective on things so that we can work together to make things better for not just us, but for the students that we service. We need to be able to allow trainings to be more accessible to our members, and we're committed to doing that. We're going to be bringing trainings to the work sites and not having trainings in the evenings when folks just want to go home to their families and have dinner after a long day's work. So we're going to make trainings more accessible. We're going to improve our communication. That's the one thing that always comes up, number one, on the survey is we need to communicate better. So we're going to be updating and launching a new webpage specifically for the Peralta Community College SEIU classified units. We are going to be putting our contract up there. We're going to be putting our chapter officers up there, all of our stewards, so that it's a resource that our members can go to. If they're not being communicated to, then they'll at least have access to something that they can go to get the information that they need. We have regular chapter meetings. They are the second Tuesday of every single month. They're at 5:30 at our 100 Oak Street office, just down the street. And we want to do a better job of reaching out to every single one of our members to make sure that our participation at those membership meetings are well attended. So those are some of the things that we're going to be working on over the course of the year, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to be at every single campus at least monthly, so if you see me, please approach me, ask me how I'm doing. I really want to know how you're doing. I want to know what you do. I want to know how long you've worked there. I want to know what's going on. So please, if you see me, approach me, say hi to me, introduce yourself, because I do want to see you and meet you. With that, I think I'm really excited about this year. I think obviously there are some challenges, but I think we have the community here to meet those challenges. And I'm really looking forward to it. So congratulations on I guess it was a short summer. Welcome back, and good luck this year. Thank you.
My name is William Highsmith. I'm the head custodian of Blaney College, and I'm also the chief shop steward for Local 39. I would like to say a few words about what's going on at the custodial department. We're in the process of hiring 3 new permanent custodians. And I think, thank you very much. And I would like to thank our president, Tamir, for making this happen, and it happened quick, so we really want to thank you, Tamir, for making this happen. And Local 39, and I want to just tell you about who Local 39 is. We are your custodians, your gardeners, engineers, food services, cashiers, warehouse distributors, and storekeepers. And on the behalf of Local 39 and the custodial department, I just really would like to welcome everybody back here for 2017 fall semester. Thank you. That's it.
Okay, next up on our agenda are some quick announcements, and so those of you who are in the program to make any announcements, please make your way up. I will share a couple of announcements to begin with. Please note that the discipline meeting will begin at 1 in the math lab. It's in the program, but just please note that that is the one discipline meeting that begins at 1. Also, workshop facilitators. I have sign-in sheets as well as evaluation forms near where we had to sign in, where the laptops for the sign-in. So please, if you're leading a workshop this afternoon, make sure that you get at least 2 of the sign-in sheets, and 1 stack of the evaluation forms. Let's see, also for evaluations for this morning's program, they will be sent by mail. The library discipline meeting, there will be a library discipline meeting. I apologize, it's not included in the program, and thank you, Evelyn, for pointing that out. And the library and discipline meeting will be in the main floor of the library here. at Laney. And a couple of other thank yous I would just like to share because I know we're going to be tight on time and I don't want to hold you back from lunch when our last keynote delivers her address. But I'd like to thank Jeff Heyman and his team for all of their support. Those of you who are watching online, you're watching online because of the work that they are doing. I mentioned before Miriam for her work in setting up today's agenda. Derek Lee at Laney College, who's a scheduler at Laney College, Derek Lee. All of the places, everything that's happening is because he was coordinating where we were going to go and have our workshops, along with what rooms were being painted, which rooms have some maintenance issues. And then also Kanetta Barrett, who also helped greatly. And so next, Ingre.
I've been given exactly 3 minutes to speak, and I just started my stopwatch. This morning's presentations, first of all, I want to say, have been amazing. I have to say, I think this has been one of the best kickoffs of professional development since I've been at Laney. And so I'm just super excited to be here. I was asked just to introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ingre Stark, and I am first and foremost a faculty member. I teach sociology at Laney. And a couple of years ago, I got interested in distance education, and I've served as a DE coordinator at Laney for a couple of years. And last fall, I was given the opportunity to serve as a distance education coordinator at the district level. I was on sabbatical last spring, and my sabbatical research was on distance education and achievement gaps. And I did research about the kinds of practices that colleges can implement to reduce achievement gaps that exist in distance education. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to present some of that research during the Laney Professional Development, and I am hoping, with the Chancellor's blessing, that I will be allowed to present some of my research to the Board of Trustees at some point in the future. So the reason I'm here is just to let you know that I, again, this fall, will be serving as the district's distance education coordinator and the Canvas transition coordinator. And so we are right now launching an initial pilot project with about 60 instructors, like 30 instructors teaching a pilot this fall. And after census, and the reason I say this is not till after census, is that we want to make sure that that pilot initiative launches successfully. Watch for communication from me via email and through your campus administrators and DE coordinators, because after census, we're going to roll out a big initiative to bring all of faculty up to speed in how to improve their face-to-face teaching, their hybrid teaching, and their online teaching using the new LMS system called Canvas. So that's 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I beat my time.
Good morning, everyone. It's really nice to see everyone this morning. Flex days are always the days filled with all the potential and opportunity and all the excitement around beginning the new semester. And now that I'm serving in this role as Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, I wanted to tell you all that I'm really excited about the position, excited about the rethinking around what academic affairs can do to support excellence in the classroom and excellence in student services. And I'm looking forward to working with everyone in the shared governance process. Just a few announcements. This definitely won't take 3 minutes, but there are some things that I wanted to make sure that I communicated. One is that we have hired the Director of Strong Workforce. And that person, I can't say the name yet, but that person will be starting at the end of the month. You are really going to enjoy working with the person that we selected. This person, I'm trying even not to say gender pronouns, comes with a great deal of experience in strong workforce and really just the personality and style of collaboration and supporting our great CTE programs and actualizing the potential of round 2 of strong workforce. And this is something that the faculty really wanted as well. Also, we have Thomas Gil Torres, who has been with us now for, I believe, over 10 years
and he is serving as the interim director of international affairs. And is Thomas here? He's actually probably working with the students because we're registering so many new international students. We had a really successful orientation for them, and it was beautiful to see all these young faces from literally across the globe. We're increasing our efforts in the continent of Africa and throughout Latin America and the Caribbean. So we look forward to that. You'll be hearing a lot of new and exciting things coming out of international affairs, including bringing services more directly to where our international students are, particularly at Berkeley and at Laney, and moving forward the other two colleges. We also have hired a new registrar at the district. Her name is Kimberly Willis, and you will hopefully get the chance to meet her as well. Under Tamika Brown, Assistant Vice Chancellor, there have been a lot of new changes, really trying to make things easier and more efficient for students around admissions and records. And Kimberly comes with a lot of experience around that and will be assisting us with that. Last, you already know this, but Cleavon Smith has thankfully stepped up, and I really have to thank Miriam. Miriam really helped a great deal this summer in a period where we were transitioning around who would be taking over the professional development lead. And Cleavon, who we already know is a great faculty leader, has stepped into the position interim. We will be announcing the full-time professional development position several times this fall, and we're asking faculty to consider how critical this role is, that it is a 10+1, and we do need strong faculty leadership to take this position, and I'm looking forward to working with whoever that person might be, and thankful to Cleavon for stepping in the crunch. And the last few things are that we've emailed out, and we'll email it out several times because people don't always read full emails, and about our new deadline to add classes. An email went out with questions and answers around that so that we could respond to what faculty were inquiring about, and we'll repeat that several times. And we're asking chairs to help us communicate that out to adjunct who may not be checking the Peralta email. We also had a scheduling retreat, and there was a great deal of participation just 2 days ago, a broad level of participation about rethinking how we schedule and scheduling for the student, with the student in mind. You will be hearing a lot about this from a variety of different perspectives. We all probably can agree that the way we are scheduling is really not working well. It's evident in the fact that we are cutting so many sections. It's evident in the fact that it's difficult for students to find the classes they need to move forward. It's a disservice to our adjuncts when we are cutting. So this semester, we'll be doing a number of workshops and conversations and really moving forward to creating our schedule in a way that works better for our students, as well as works better for ourselves and reaching our targets. Currently, right now, we're at 76% of our target. And I'll send out announcements around where we're at in these next few weeks, at least weekly or more. Anytime you have questions about it, just let me know. And, last thing is right up there. Please, please, please. Last year was really a breakthrough year for us. Because we learned that there were a number of faculty, part-time and full-time, new and not so new in our district, that really didn't understand the role of census and how critical it is to take really accurate attendance and to fill in your census report online and on time before the deadline. BCC and COA have really mastered a way to get that to 100%, and we're grateful to that. And also Merritt and Laney have also increased their participation and helping faculty become more aware. And so we're really looking for all colleges to submit census online and on time, and we in our office, we will do everything we can to communicate it out repeatedly with instructions so that you are aware. Again, I ask chairs to share that information to get to adjunct faculty who are not checking their Peralta email. But census, as you know, is very important. We're audited on it, and we had a very successful audit this past summer. It showed that we as a district are really following these processes and understand their importance, and so we hope to continue that and keep that standard very high. And that's really all. I hope you all have a wonderful semester and that you tap into and cultivate the brilliance of our students and that you use your best, most effective teaching practices and counseling and student services practices so that we can continue to create more and more Tenzins around from what we do here in Peralta. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jason Cole, Vice Chancellor of Information Technology. I've been here 6 months, so but I wanted to actually say thank you all for making me feel so welcomed and making me part of the Peralta community. I love being here, so thank you. And if you need help checking your email, like Siri mentioned, we are offering help all day in F-170 down in the Tech Center. So because we've now migrated to the new email system, the new cloud email system. So if you need help with that, if you need help setting up your phone, come on down. We're happy to give you a hand. I just wanted to real briefly say it's going to be a very exciting year in IT across the district. Your college IT teams are really putting in the effort. They're really we're all working together to really improve the student experience, improve your experience with your tools, with the tools you need to do your job, and to make the IT function the way we need it to improve student success and improve student access. So I'm having a session today from 2 to 3 to talk about the IT strategy, talk about where we're going. Just real briefly, though, a couple of things. I just came from the smart classrooms, where we're installing smart classrooms here at Laney in the B building. They're going to be awesome. I'm very, very excited. So the first ones will actually be live by the end of today. And then we'll be rolling out over the next 6 weeks. So we'll have 65 done by the end of September, and then we're building out the plans to finish out Laney, and then building out plans at COA and at Merritt. So we'll be watch your email, and if you need help. And then we're also, like Ingre said, we're live with Canvas for the pilot, and we're going to be expanding that out as rapidly as we can. So if you need help, and we're going to be offering as many workshops for transition, workshops on instructional strategies to leverage the smart classrooms, technical workshops, and all that support as we migrate forward, because we want you to be able to use the technology that we're providing. So come on by 2 to 3, and thank you so much for making me feel welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Scott Hoshida. I'm the Faculty Diversity Internship Program Coordinator. And I want to just give 2 quick announcements, one about the program and one about a workshop this afternoon. The first is I've been working with a committee of folks to select 35 participants in the second-year cohort training program for the Faculty Diversity Internship Program, and I'll be asking faculty to open their classrooms to have people visit or to meet with them for informational interviews. So there'll be an email about the different kind of categories or disciplines that are represented, and I hope that folks are open to welcoming them into your classrooms and your offices. If you would like to recruit interns for the following year, please email me as well, and I'll help get that set up. The other thing is, one of the things I've really learned from this program, running this program, is that mentorship between faculty is one of the most powerful ways to kind of support our part-time faculty as they come in. And as a part of that, I've been working closely with District Academic Senate, Cleavon, and them, and also PFT, to understand our own evaluation practices. And we're going to take a closer look at these this afternoon at a workshop at 3:10, I believe. And we're going to talk a little bit about what we discovered in evaluation through a survey we did a year ago, and also some practices that we think will really improve the experiences, especially for part-time faculty. Thank you, and I hope to see you this afternoon.
Okay. Oh, Annette? Annette, do you have an update for us for accreditation?
I do. What do you need?
What's the latest? So for our viewers online, Annette was just sharing that we are in pretty good shape. For some information as far as the settlement with CFT and ACCJC, those are for the new standards going forward, but our last accreditation cycle was on the old standards. And so for merit specifically, we will still have to address the recommendation that came out in February. And so thank you, Annette, and thank you for all of our announcements. And so next is Chancellor Laguerre. We know Chancellor Laguerre. We don't need to get into his bio, and I think he has a lot of good information to share with us.
I think that Cleveland, how about a hand for Cleveland Smith? And I think that we should go ahead and draft him now for the permanent position because he's done a great job. I just want to recognize one of our trustees and her granddaughter, Camille, who is here, Trustee Linda Handy. Would you please stand up? At the beginning of the program, Professor Smith said that I could take as much time as I wanted to, kind of that, but I'm closely. But I am very attentive to the time and knowing that we have a keynote speaker, so I'm not sure. It's going to be a challenge to deliver the remarks that I've prepared for you today. I want to, going to abbreviate a lot of what I wanted to share with you. We have several new employees. However, I think most of them have been introduced already by other folks. The one person I'd love to introduce is the new president of Laney College, brand new. She hit, people hit the ground running. She hit the ground flying. That's Miss Tamil Gilkerson. She's in the back. So I want to thank the faculty for listening to us last year when we said to you that we had major problems with our rosters and with our grades. You responded really, really well. And the audit that just took place, instead of sharing with you that we could be losing money because you didn't turn in your rosters on time, I don't have that kind of news for you this time, but rather expression of gratitude for what you have done to make sure that we get the rosters and other things on time. So thank you very much for that. I want to, again, thank Tenzin for challenging us to really claim our rightful place within higher education, the power that we have, the greatness that we have. So when I spoke to you 2 years ago, I declared that the old Peralta Way needed to make way to a new Peralta Way. Essentially, the old Peralta Way is an educational thinking stuck in an ineffective bureaucratic routine. My new Peralta Way is an educational vision that would break new ground in innovative administrative effectiveness and, above all, one that might introduce and sustain a determination that would give substance to the idea of student success and academic and administrative excellence. Let me assure you that I have worked very hard and have invested much energy and emotional capital to lead the district in this new way. I had no idea how hard this venture would be, nor did I think that it was going to be an easy fix. But for me, the harder the challenge, the greater the effort. To be sure, gold becomes pure only as it goes through fire. Today, I will share with you some of the concrete steps taken to further realize the new Peralta Way, to include some of the tough challenges we have faced. I will renew my call for you to hold our administrators and one another accountable for our actions and to continue to shape a new Peralta. The old Peralta, or what we call the Peralta Way, really is a lack of holding people accountable. When we are mired in ill conversations, in conversations that instead of holding people accountable, we're talking about them instead, it does not really push us to where we need to be. It does not challenge us enough. And I know full well that there is a lack of leadership and courage from those in charge to fix ineffectiveness. For my 2 years here, these are my reflections. It is not easy work to undo the old Peralta or even to institute the new Peralta or a normal Peralta, but we have no choice but to do it. For the past year, we have had some challenges and obstacles that have at times frustrated the progress of Peralta. Paying our bills on time being one of them. Attacking this chronic issue regarding our inability to pay our bills on time has been daunting, to say the least. We have made some progress, however, but much is left to be done. With courage, we are pursuing it with vigor. We have an outside group that's going to come and help us determine the issues that we have and also to train our personnel. You have no doubt heard loud noises regarding the parcel tax. As you know, a parcel tax spending plan was in place some years before I arrived. And an audit I ordered this past spring, the first of its kind for the district, revealed that Peralta has used the funds appropriately. Although there was a small number of expenditures that were not handled well prior to my administration, we were able to correct the situation and are happy that we continue to uphold the promise we made to the voters. Perhaps the difficulty here has been that some do not understand that the use of the funds was never meant exclusively for instruction. Here, the ballot language is very clear and stipulates that funds can be used for instruction, especially mathematics, English, and science, but also for other means to support students' success and transfer. The audit showed clearly that the funds were spent on those aforementioned requirements. As anyone who works within an academic institution knows, when a higher amount is not spent exclusively on academics, there will be objections. Yet, as one looks to the expenditures coded to the parcel tax, it is true that there has been substantial funding for academic support that was not necessarily dedicated to the aforementioned subject matters. These have been expenditures over the years to support instruction. Nevertheless, I have asked our budget office to take steps to make arrangements so that even more funding might be dedicated to instruction by shifting the budgets of the parcel tax to the control of the college presidents. This should be done with the building of the new budget, which I hope will start as early as October. My hope for it was to happen this year. However, due to some difficulties, we were not able to start it. We had difficulties with our president, so we had to replace 4 presidents over the past 18 months. And I want to thank the faculty, I want to thank the staff and the administrators for doing a great job so that we now have in place 4 outstanding presidents, and I'm doing everything that I can to make sure that we keep them in place. One of my greatest headaches last year were those numerous Laney emails copied to a lot of people with the subject line, "New leaks." We have fought leaks, and we have fought leaks, and we have worked hard to get things under control. But we realize that much work remains. The district is working very closely with the college to make sure that the infrastructure is redone so that those leaks can be gone once and for all. I'm sure all of you can come up with your own set of challenges that we have had over the past year, but I'm glad that we have worked through them and we are here, and despite the negative effect that they have had, we are still moving forward. Now, some new steps toward the new Peralta Way. Building trust with the new college presidents is something that is extremely important to me and to them. So we are working together very closely We had a president's retreat in May and another one in July, and we are building a team founded on trust, on commitment, accountability, and achievement, all distinct features of a new Peralta Way. We also embarked on a new campaign. We have worked with everyone in the district office to establish an understanding that we will provide answers to inquiries, telephone calls, emails within 48 hours of our receiving them. We will respond to you within 48 hours after we hear from you. It is a promise that I made to you 2 years ago, and the time is here for us to fulfill that promise. So starting today, if you do not receive responses within 48 hours of your sending an inquiry to the district, you need to contact Dr. Mary Denise Jackson, whose email is mdjackson@peralta.edu. I have communicated with the district office staff that we exist to support the colleges. We don't exist just to be a district office in ourselves. As Nancy Caton from BCC argues, the colleges cannot effectively do their jobs without the collaboration and responsiveness of the district office. The mindset needs to change to facilitate the success of the colleges. As I told our administrators recently, we ought to be worthy of the investment the colleges are making in us to achieve their success. I had something on information technology, but Jason came up and he shared with you everything that I had here. The only thing that I want to add is that for distance education, I want to thank Drs. Ingre Stark and Mike Orkin and the Distance Education Committee for working very diligently to transform distance education at Peralta by adopting new standards, providing training, and garnering new instruments for distance education, or new investments for distance education. Really, a shout out to the Academic Senate, as well as to the Distance Ed Committee for making those things happen. We are very happy that we now are investing in our distance education. It's an endeavor that we neglected for too long. I want to thank the PBIM Task Force for the work it has done to strengthen the roles of our participatory governance committees. I'm looking forward to the formulation of a budget work group that will sit down with our finance office on a regular basis. We'll have faculty and staff who will spend significant amount of time building and maintaining our budget so that the budget is not done in secret, so that the budget is not a secret to anyone. We want to make sure that faculty and staff gets to participate in the construction of the budget. To this end, I'm encouraging faculty and staff leaders to visit 2 community colleges in the state that have the most transparent budget processes. One of them is Los Rios, and the other one is San Diego Community College District. If you are interested in visiting these places, I ask you to contact President Chanowski from PFT and President Smith from District Academic Senate. A transparent budget process is my sincere desire, and based on all I'm hearing, it is the desire of all of us as well. I am pleased that our budget director and vice chancellor of finance are eager to share their expertise in the building of the budget with all of us. When we are successful at having higher transparency in the budget, Peralta will have a well-laid foundation that should last indefinitely. I have proposed a working budget group that will be in session 3 times a month and during the summer months to help build the budget and to help translate the budget for the rest of us. Everyone who wants to know the budget very well should have an opportunity to do so. I want to recognize some of our accomplishments from last year. Our nursing program, I want to congratulate our colleagues from the nursing department at Merritt College for their stellar ranking last year. They were ranked first in the state, and that is not an easy feat, and we are very proud of what they have done. They are among the best in preparing students for the profession. And Director Don Williams and the entire faculty deserve one more time our deep appreciation, so we appreciate them very much. During this summer, we sent quite a few students overseas to China, to Ethiopia, to Cuba, and other places. You've heard from our Vice Chancellor that international education is going to have a new look, so we look forward to that. We also have done a better job at advocacy this past year. Some of our faculty have demanded that we engage in greater advocacy to have the government fund more of our programs. I'm pleased to report that the base allocation increase we received this year was the result of strong advocacy by Peralta and some other large urban districts. Not as successful, however, was a legislative request for $2 million for repairs at Laney. We received a lot of sympathy, but no cash. We have to try again. It is difficult, and I hope that you will join me in making sure that we continue our advocacy. The district had 8 SCCJC recommendations. Also, they can't sanction us, but sanctions for that as well. When I assumed my role as Chancellor, our district accreditation consultant, Dr. Annette D'Ambrosio, spearheaded the district administrative teamwork, and together we addressed our responsibilities. Because of our diligence, the district currently is recommendation-free. In the new Peralta Way, we are continuing the work to support the colleges and the district to remain compliant. My promise to you was that the district office should never jeopardize the accreditation sanctions or the accreditation standards of our colleges. We are here to help the colleges, not to hurt them, something that we are committed to. With the new PBIM participatory governance we are looking at, and you're going to learn a lot about this, we are really proposing new structures that would help us. A dedicated enrollment management committee to bring people together around enrollment needs. A conference committee that will make sure that technology and facilities talk together. A transparent budget process. I don't know that I can say this one enough. A transparent budget process with a work group that will make sure that our budget is tied to our planning, but most importantly, that we all know what our budget really is. We have, in terms of opportunities before us, we have unprecedented opportunities to increase our enrollment through a variety of opportunities, including the expansion of non-credit and credit courses and greater outreach to our students. We need to identify students with a low balance on their accounts who have not been allowed to register. We look at the data, we have some students who owe us like $1, and we block them. It's true, $1. We have students who owe us $2, and we block them. So that's really an issue. If you, as a faculty member, hear of any students who's blocked and who need to access Peralta because they have a balance, please let us know. We certainly understand that it is really important for us to provide the resources necessary to make sure that we maintain our facilities the best way that we can. And we know that for many years, various investors and corporations have eyed Laney properties, COA properties, and Merit properties, yet there has not been any marked advance in any conversation. For a few years now, there were public statements to use Laney College as the site of a baseball stadium, a mystery because nobody had spoken to us. Once people started to approach us, we quickly realized that they were no longer speaking about Laney College, but now had their sights on other facilities having to do with Laney. Over the summer, we were able to say, no, you don't want to do that, but rather there is some space across the street. If indeed we can talk, it would be in our best interest, look at that instead. Because some of you probably have not looked at the district office land. It is one that is a major waste, one that we have not really developed the way that it should. So any conversation, we want to really surround around areas that we may not need, areas that would be extra for us. As I stated last year, it would not be wise for us to sell our lands unless we find ourselves in advantageous positions to trade assets. We ought to instead lease our land if we're going to do anything with them. And here are some of the standards and expectations that I'm laying down. Equity. Any deals ought to revolve around equity, not as an afterthought, but as an integral part of our agreements. Avoidance of gentrification. By all means, we need to avoid gentrification. Housing for students. It is something that's heartbreaking to know that we have so many homeless students. So many of our students are homeless, and so many of our part-time faculty and staff who are at the lower end of the economic spectrum are just 1 month away from being homeless. So we understand that. So housing for students in any agreement, we want to make sure that we can lead to the improvement of housing opportunities, food safety for our students. Housing for our faculty and staff. In any deal, we need to push strongly for housing for some of our faculty and staff who are having a hard time affording livable space in our community. Employment benefits. Any development investment need to provide career exploration opportunities for our students and employment for our alumni. Educational benefits. Building educational benefits for our students, faculty, and staff and feeder high schools should be a critical concern in all our decision making. For example, when at Montgomery College, when I was vice president there, we considered some partnership with Holy Cross Hospital. The partnership centered on students' internship and faculty access to hospital labs and clinics and students' employment. New sources of infrastructure revenue. Maintaining our buildings, as you all know, is an ongoing challenge. Our aged buildings at Laney, Merritt, and COA need repair, maintenance, and general upkeep. Our newest buildings, including the ones at BCC and Merritt, will no longer maintain their character and appeal unless we can maintain them. Currently, we just do not have the cushion in our budget to hire enough custodians and engineers to maintain the minimum standards we want and need. We need solid opportunities that will generate ongoing revenue that we can invest in our infrastructure and in its long-needed priorities. Our aim should be to look for and to evaluate those potential opportunities that are offered us that will enhance our funding to meet our total cost of ownership criteria, as well as to enhance quality of life and to assure equity for our students, faculty, and staff. To realize these ideas or ideals, we need to have strong participatory governance committee to develop and to implement our plans, to retain the memory of our commitments, to build our infrastructure, and to hold future leaders, future chancellors, accountable for the promises that are made. We follow a system like this at Solano Community College, which allowed for a new biotech building to be completed, for a brand new, for a theater to be renovated, for a 44,000 square foot science building to be built. We can do that here, and we owe it to ourselves to make sure that we do it. At times, we may fight and let go past us the opportunities that can transform our district. Let us make sure we attend to the big things and not the petty things distract us, and not let the petty things distract us from our ideals. These fundamental things that can help our students and colleagues live better. And as Wes Jackson said, if you are dreaming of things that can only be accomplished during your lifetime, you are not dreaming big enough. So let us dream together the big things now to ensure a solid future for those who will follow us. Let us not anguish over small matters. let us dream big and focus big. We have a workforce development continuing education unit, as you know, and much work has been done with this particular unit. Much more needs to be done, and I look forward for us to look for a permanent leader to lead that particular area for us, and that's one that should really help us do good things in the future. Investing in Laney. On August 15th, 2015, I promised that by the fall of 2018, we would equip Laney's classrooms with smart technology. With 1 year left to go, I'm pleased with the progress we are making, and we will have 85 total classrooms equipped this semester alone. But we should not stop until all the required classrooms are minimally equipped with smart technology. Again, from time to time, I think of the faculty member who prepares PowerPoint and have stuff over the internet that teach at other colleges or teach in one of our smart classrooms, to go into the classroom and not have the equipment that you need. We owe you that, and we will make it happen. So I want to thank Professor Blake Johnson, the chair of the Technology Committee at Laney, as well as the College Council, along with Laney President Tamil Gilkerson, Facility Supervisor Amy Marshall, Senate President Donald Moore, and so many others who are making this happen. It remains true. Yeah, let's give him a. Yeah. It remains true for Laney and our institutions that we need a budget that will fund needed maintenance and repair, a budget higher than what we can afford at this time. Our grants, services, and leases should not be considered options, but vitally necessary resources to help us to repair and to maintain our facilities to an acceptable professional level. I'm heavily counting on investment in workforce development and continuing education to also help us with a more prosperous Peralta that will not only attend to its infrastructure, but also to provide better compensation for our part-time faculty. I want to thank the negotiating teams that gave us the contracts they gave us. You heard about those, really grateful for their work. The new Peralta Way is taking shape, and I thank all of you for having the courage to engage in the hard work that is inherent to dynamic change. As essential ingredient of this new Peralta Way is a dynamically functioning district office that proves every day it is worth the investments that have been made in it. As the year goes forward, I have two wishes for us. One is for us to question information and seek the truth so that the gossip and untruths you hear do not take away from your commitment to students, to one another, and to the educational purpose you have dedicated your life to. Paying attention to rumors can be defeating and unproductive and often leads to low morale. I was asked by a dear colleague, how can one lead when people engage in gossip and are often critical and or blind to good work being done? In response, I asked my colleague to reflect on the importance of those national leaders whose good work have remained long after they have left office, but who were at the time underappreciated. Consider the Affordable Care Act of President Obama. Even a few Republican lawmakers are not ready to throw it away. The dream vision of Dr. Martin Luther King, the remarkable moon landing under President JFK, and who would have thought that President Carter would now be remembered as a leader for peace? The second one I have for you is to allay your fears. There are fears that we all have that must be overcome. Nothing good becomes of fear. The antidote to fear is to be driven by principle. There is wisdom in FDR's dictum that we have nothing to fear but fear itself. Let's all get this point across to our students. Our country is going through an amazing time of both greatness and sadness. Sadness with the tweets our government puts out regularly that strike fear in the hearts of almost everyone. But also our country is going through some greatness. When we see our sisters and brothers of all ethnicities and races take to the streets and die to say no to bigotry, injustice, discrimination, and unfairness, let us not allow fear to deaden our native instinct for the achievement of justice. Let us work diligently in our quest for equity that starts with a respect for one another. Let us support our students' basic needs for housing, food, healthcare, and education. Let us work to educate our students such that they are meaningfully employable and employed. Let us create a whole lot more Ayana, a whole lot more Tenzin. Thank you for your attention today, and have a great and successful academic year.